Meanwhile, it's gotten pretty late already, and we find our boy strolling alone. His phone keeps ringing with notifications from his friends, showing they had a blast at the gaming center. We flash back to the gaming club, where we see Hyokjin, our boy, Jae-hyung, and Young-chan all hanging out. Everyone is amazed by how Young-chan carried them through the game. Jae-hyung even asks about his rank, guessing it must be Diamond or Master. Their jaws drop when Young-chan timidly reveals that he's actually at Challenger rank. From that moment, their attitude toward Young-chan shifts completely. In the present moment, even our boy finds this sudden change odd as they keep chatting excitedly about Young-chan's impressive rank. As he's looking at his phone, his sister arrives. He quickly asks her what she's doing here. She explains that they ran out of garbage bags at home, so she went to get some, and she also picked up a few snacks. Our boy offers to carry the bags, but his sweet sister insists it's not necessary. She then asks if he was hanging out with his friends, and he confirms that he was. She feels a warm sense of relief, glad to see that he's made friends and that people aren't avoiding him because of the fight. When she asks where he went, he bluntly replies that he went to the game room. Well, it seems like this isn't exactly what she expected to hear, as she thought he might have developed different interests after living overseas for so long. Curious about her own experiences at school, he asks how things have been for her. She pauses for a moment before responding that school hasn't been this fun in years. She then asks if he also had something to eat. He nods, saying they had a blast at the game room, where every kind of snack was available. He then asks her about her plans, and she mentions that she's waiting for Grandpa to come home so they can eat together. Our boy then asks if he can join them, which confuses her since she thought he'd already eaten. He awkwardly admits that he's still a bit hungry. We already know that our boy just wants to have some quality family time. When they get home, there's a spread of delicious food laid out on the table, and they all seem to be having a great time eating together. It does seem odd that Grandpa only works a security job, yet they have such a variety of food every day. It's a bit of a mystery how they manage that. As they're having a good time eating together, our boy's thoughts drift back to his mercenary days. After a moment, he shakes off the nostalgia and is back to smiling. Just then his phone rings. It's Major Kang calling. The Major reminds him that he should just call him bro instead of using his rank. The Major asks how things are going, and our boy says he's doing well. But when the Major probes about his school life, there's an awkward silence on the line in response. Getting a bit anxious, the Major quickly asks if our boy has killed someone. Jin quickly says no, but admits he did run into some trouble that was quickly sorted out. The Senior lets out a sigh of relief, and our boy reassures him that everything is fine now, and there's nothing to worry about. Kang is relieved and reminds our boy that they're always there for him. In response, Jin promises he won't forget that. The next day at school, we see the trio in class, but our boy is noticeably missing, and Young-chan seems a bit awkward among the two bullies. Jae-hyung starts asking odd questions. Curiously, he asks who they think would win in a fight between Jin and Seokju-ko. Hyokjin points out that while Jin is good, he probably couldn't beat Seokju-ko, who's been training in combat since he was a kid. To him, our boy seems like an amateur in comparison. Jae-hyung agrees, adding that Seokju-ko is one tough motherfudger. Young-chan then asks if it's true that Seokju-ko fought against 20 dudes and won. Blonde quickly corrects him, saying it was actually 30 guys. The number leaves Young-chan momentarily stunned. He even forget to breathe for a second. Brownhead explains that when a group of street thugs was harassing Yona-sin, Seokju-ko took them all out. He says it started with 10 guys, but they kept coming. By the time 30 guys showed up, Seokju was still going strong. He walked off without a scratch while the 30 thugs were left unconscious on the street, like discarded toys. The timid boy then asks about the rumors he heard, about Seokju catching the kidnappers who took Yona. He's heard that the people behind it were all retired soldiers. The blonde quickly confirms that the story about Seokju-ko catching the kidnappers is probably true as well. He insists that Jin doesn't stand a chance against Seokju because he is on a whole other level. It's sometimes hilarious to think that teenagers in these Korean manhwa are taking down entire gangs single-handedly, making the government and all those intelligence and law enforcement departments look like they're just wasting taxpayer money. In the meantime, our boy suddenly stops in the corridor when he comes face to face with Seokju. Without wasting any time, Seokju asks him straightforwardly what he's doing here. Confused, our boy makes it clear that he doesn't understand what he is getting at. Seokju simplifies his approach and asks why he is lying about his identity. He mentions that he's heard our boy had a hand in Gisu and Huijin Kim moving away. Jin clarifies that he did have some beef with Gisu, but he had nothing to do with their departure. That is when Seokju points out that he checked with the school our boy supposedly attended overseas, and they've never heard of him. Things seem to be heating up, but before we get our boy's response to Seokju, the scene shifts to Daeyeon. She's approached by Yeona, the stunning girl from earlier.